Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC gonna take up the FMS PC-21 Pilatus. Right, left, down, right, left. All right. Now this has the Reflex version 2. It also has reverse thrust. Let me show you reverse thrust. But if you want to use the reflex and reverse thrust, then you're going to need 8 channels because you've also got flaps. So I opted to use reverse thrust instead of the reflex as in all 3. Now, if you just power the reflex, run it through the reflex, then all it does is give you the wind mitigation or the optimized mode, which is all I end up using anyways. But with the Reflex 2, you can't go in there and change the settings on it. And I have found that the Reflex 3 is not all that easy to change settings on it either. So right, left, up, down. Okay. I have a little bit of a flapped elevator mix, but we're not going to be needing flaps today. This is a Swiss jet trainer. The Swiss Air Force train their, before they let their pilots fly jets, they have to fly this first. It's a very good flying plane, as far as an RC plane goes. It does fly like it's on rails. And like a jet, it's longer than its wingspan. Now it is getting moved around an awful lot because I do have a nasty cross breeze today.
Time remaining 4 minutes. Landing flaps.
Maybe that kind of slow here. Got the flaps down.
Flaps up.
Okay. I haven't flown this thing in forever. Where the flight's not a problem. Take it up, stall it. Yeah. If I remember right, she lands pretty good. She lands pretty easy. Got my center line here. Of course, that's easier said than done.
Braking. Brakes off.
Yeah. Don't really need flaps today, given how this wind is. And I'm sorry, I'm having to really fight that rudder to keep her going straight against that cross breeze. When I do these hat cam videos, Mama had to work, so it's just me and the cell phone on my forehead, which I'll put a link to the mount I used. I had a guy ask me what kind of mount I use, and I can't remember now if I gave him the link. I think I did, but I'll still put the link in this video here, because a lot of people ask me, well, how do you mount your cell phone to your head? And the mount I use is very, very comfortable, and it works out really well. It's about 30 bucks, but it's really worth it. I've gone through 3 or 4 different head mounts, and this is my favorite. Be careful of that rudder taking off. Yeah, that wind is really moving her. Running a 4000 smart battery, 4000 4S in her. And the battery's mounted midways in the plane. Instead of up front with most warbirds, it's actually mounted in the middle of the plane. That's where you get your CG, which is more reminiscent of a jet. Got that big long nose and a real long tail. But just a good flying plane. I wish I had some clouds.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
I wish I had enough more clouds. So, I mean, I got some over here, but I just wish I had more. That way you could really have something to put that pretty red plane against as it flies by. Yeah. Well, these hat cam videos are more about me just practicing my flying so that when Precious can film for me, my skills are a little bit better, or at least I try to make them better. Accidents still are going to happen. That's part of the hobby. But these hat cam videos are mainly just me practicing my skills, you know, getting stick time in. All right. Let's bring her by dirty. When I say dirty, what I'm referring to is that everything's deployed. Flaps, landing flaps, gear, everything is down. I just want to make sure, but I definitely don't need flaps today. I just want to see it. Gear is still going to be down though, obviously. That's a good looking plane.
Braking. Brakes off.
And that tricycle gear she handles, she tracks pretty good. But you do have that really big rudder back there, way back there, and that wind's hitting it. So I'm really having to pay attention. And I just don't have enough channels to put the nose gear on its own separate rudder channel, so I can put that nose. Well, actually, never mind. I don't have that kind of receiver in there. What I've got in there is a Lemon RX Gen 2, just a regular receiver, no gyro, because I have the Reflex 2 to handle that, to handle the gyro functions.
Prop secured.
Prop secured. I had 26 seconds left on a 5-minute timer. Prop is secured. Let's take a look and get you a battery report, and I can show you the placement what I was talking about. Okay. See, right there, you mount the battery in the mid section, right here in the middle, and that's where she CG's at. And CG, I don't remember the numbers, but it's, you see how far it is back? It's right there. That's the Reflex version 2, and here's a 4000. Okay, smart battery. Plane has an XT60, but 60% left, so I could definitely fly. I had it set for 5 minutes. You can set your timer for 7 minutes, come back at about 30%, which is a good storage rate. But if you want to have thrust reverse and you want to use all 3 levels of reflex, well, then you need those 2 channels beyond a regular 6 channel, because you've got throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, flaps, and gear. So there's your 6 channels. Thrust reverse requires its own channel because it's not a smart avian ESC. It plugs in. And then you need your 8th channel or your 7th channel. No. Yeah, your 7th channel. Or your that's 8. Do your math. 8 channels if you want to use all 3 levels of the reflex. So if you want to use everything that this plane offers, you'll need an 8-channel receiver. However, honestly, I was landing today into the wind without the flaps. If you time your landing right, you could do away without the thrust reverse if you really wanted to use the reflexes, all three levels of it. Otherwise, have a simple, that 7-channel Lemon RX receiver. Let me zoom in on it. That 7-channel Lemon RX right there, okay, this thing's only like $18. Okay, it's got a long antenna, got looped around coming out the side. Okay, 7-channel. You could do without the thrust reverse okay, and just run your 3 levels of reflex if you're a beginner. If you don't care about that and just use the reflex for just its optimizer wind gyro, which is what I do, then you can use your thrust reverse in your 7th channel, okay? And then because the power is running through the reflex, you still get the wind gyro by default. You get that automatically, and you don't have to have a channel for it. Okay, so that's you know, you make your choice. Otherwise, you got to spend about $30 or $40 more on a receiver just to get that 8th channel. Of course, they don't tell you that. They just tell you 6 channels plus. So, all right, folks. Well, there you go. That is the PC-21 Pilatus PC-21, which is a Swiss jet trainer. They have to check off in this before they can fly jets in the Swiss Air Force, from what I understand. Now, that may have changed, but that's just a good looking plane. She flies really well, and I want to thank Hobby Zone for sending it out to me for a review. Folks, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God is good, and that is the Swiss Pilatus PC-21. God is good, and God bless y'all. Bye-bye.